Hello, this is Trevor with TCR RC Videos, and today we're going to do a basic flying video for RC airplanes. The plane I've chosen is the Decathlon, which is built into your real flight game, G5.5. And the first thing you want to start off with is the takeoff. Now you don't want to, your first instinct may be just to give a lot of throttle and then pull back on the elevator, and it'll just shoot it off up into the air. The problem with this is it's not very stable, and you won't be able to gain altitude quick enough without stalling out. The way you want to start off is give throttle slowly while giving a little bit of left rudder to counteract the torque of the plane until you can see the tail wheel coming up. Then you want to just gently pull back on the elevator until you've gained a stable amount of elevation. Like your altitude should be about there. It's all preference for how high you want to be. Then you just turn in using your rudder, a mixture of your rudder and the aileron. The way you do this is turn your rudder the way you want to go, and once you see your plane starting to bank, you can give opposite aileron. And if you feel like you're losing too much altitude, you can give a little bit of up elevator too. Now if you're just beginning, you want to fly around in circles for a little while, using this flat turn technique with the rudder and the aileron mix, giving the way you want to go with the rudder and the opposite aileron so that you turn without losing the altitude or banking too far. After you've done this, then you want to go on to the most important rule of flying, is the landing. The reason it's the most important is, as it's been quoted, you can always choose when to take off, but you never have a choice. You always have to land. Whether that be a crash landing or a nice, beautiful landing that everyone claps when you came in. There's nothing better than after a good long flight, especially if you've done a lot of aerobatics, and just come on in with a gentle little curve and bring your plane in for a nice, smooth, controlled landing. So I'll teach you how to land like this. First, what you want to do is set up across the landing strip and get to about half throttle flight. The reason about half throttle is it's not an exact, you have to be exactly at half. It's just you want to slow your plane down in the air by killing the throttle a bit, because if you're just full throttle the whole time, you're going to be going extremely fast and it's going to be a lot harder to bring it down. So once you're down to about half, maybe a little more, a little less, depending on the power to weight ratio for your plane, you want to bring it out past the landing strip, pretty far ways, and start a nice banked turn. On this turn, you want to go past where you think you should for the runway, and I'll explain this in a minute. But once you're past where you think you should, you want to start bringing the throttle down and the elevator up to where you're still level flight, but your nose is a lot higher than the tail of the plane. And that way, when you come in, the gear touch the ground first, and then you can instantly kill the throttle once you're on the ground, and the tail wheel is already down, and it's already slowing you down. Now the reason why you don't want to come in straight for the landing strip, here I'll demonstrate why, but the reason why is you'll overshoot it, and I guarantee the pavement's going to be a lot better than just the bumpy grass in the field. Or if your landing strip is a grass field, it's going to be a lot better grass than out in the weeds then. So let's say I'm coming in, and this looks pretty accurate on to it. Maybe not great, but as you can see as you get closer, I've really overshot the strip. Now I'm out into the grass and the rocks. Now as you get larger planes, this becomes less of an issue, because the larger the plane, the better it will handle the grass and landing. But if you've got a smaller plane or a plane you really don't want to mess up, you can just land it out in the concrete. And if your field doesn't have concrete, then the grass there has probably been smoothed out pretty well to make for good landings. So this has been on our video on how to fly some basic radio control flying. I've hoped you learned something. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.